Good afternoon and welcome to this open day that is dedicated to, it's not an open day, but it's just, we could say, an open hour. We could say it's dedicated to understand what are the key points in order to attend a master in strategic design. That is one of the historical master of POLI.design in collaboration with the MIP. That is the business school of Polytechnic.
Maybe Cabirio, sorry if I interrupt you. Maybe we wait a few minutes just to give the...
I'm just making a sort of premises of what we will do in a few minutes.
Thank you.
A very brief presentation about myself before starting. I'm Cabirio Cautela, the Master Director. The other leader of the master is Francesco Zurlo, that is a full professor of Politecnico di Milano. He's an historical, we could say, professor of Politecnico, and his topic of research are related with strategic design and design management. So let's say that there is a big group in the master, in the faculty, that collaborate with the design school, with the design department, and with the management engineering school and department, where we have different kind of courses and even research lines. So just we could say 1 minute before starting, in order that everyone can connect with a couple of minutes of delay, and then we start to highlight the main point of the reason why attending a master like strategic design. In the meanwhile, I try to share the presentation in order that we can make a very quick test if everything is available and is right. Anna, can you?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Put in full screen.
Yes. Okay, I'm ready. When you want, I just take, we could say 1 minute, and then
yes,
and then we start.
But also, Cabirio, don't worry, because the webinar will be recorded. So if you want, you can start.
Okay. So welcome again. We have to dedicate 30 to 35 minutes to present this kind of edition. That is the 23rd edition of the Master in Strategic Design. And as you can recognize, we could say we have 23 years. So it's one of the most consolidated master in Politecnico. And we start every year this kind of presentation saying a sort of premises. Attending a course like the Strategic Design Master is like attending a sort of MBA in design. So it's a sort of, let's say, horizontal approach to the innovation. Those that they attend a master in business and administration, they want a different kind of practice and some rules and some methodology in order to run an enterprise. In this case, those that usually attend a master in strategic design, they want an approach in the innovation in particular, but even we could say in management. So the core topic of this master is how to link managerial issues with the design issues in a world in which management and design nowadays, they continuously interplay in order to create new product, new services, new business model, a new kind of sometimes entrepreneurial adventure. So in a certain way, strategic design is addressed not only to existing company and to manager, but even we can say to those designer and entrepreneur that they want to create a new business. So as you can see in the claim, that is a sort of subtitle of the master, we have building new business and strategy through design. And this is, we could say, the core of this kind of master, because design, according to some capabilities, according to some point of view, according to some user-centered, we could say, orientation, is a competitive weapon, is considered as a competitive weapon to create from one end a new business in the company or outside the company, and on the other hand, we could say, to build up new strategies in terms of innovation. So if we want an overview about what is in particular, let's we say, strategic design, and not just a design, because somehow there could be a sort of confusion about the role of design and the role of strategic design, we can say that the role of design in the organization nowadays completely changed with respect to the past, because the position in the company, in particular in some leading company in different sectors like telecommunication, like we can say even some insurance or some manufacturing company or some food company or even in energy, design is gaining a sort of top level position in which the C-level, so the chief designer officer, collaborate with the other C-level of the company, the chief marketing officer or the CEO or the chief innovation, we can say, manager, in which we can say these kind of figures, they lead the future direction and the scenarios of innovation of the company. So when we speak about strategic design, what we have to understand and what we have to recognize is that nowadays design is something completely different by the design of 30 or 40 years ago, in which design was just the final operative tail of the innovation process after the marketing, after the operation, after the strategy. And nowadays we could say we operate and we, in a certain way, innovate with design from the first moment, from the beginning of the innovative process. And in particular, we could say the other changing factor is that organizations nowadays are completely changed. There has been the digital transformation. There has been some philosophy about the flat hierarchy. There has been the introduction of different logics of design thinking in the organization, and the way according to which people work is completely different by the past. Because, as Richard Florida says, today there is the rising of the creative class, and so the creative class is the leading, let's we say, class in a lot of organizations that are, let's we say, close related to design, or even we can say far related to design. In this kind of scenario, I try, we could say, to recall the deep sense of strategic design. And in particular, I take one contribution of a design scholar that is called Klaus Krippendorf. In 1989, he wrote an article that is called "Design is about making sense of the things," in which we try to link this kind of contribution in which design created the sense of the thing to another kind of paradigm of innovation that was born in Politecnico di Milano, that has been driven by Roberto Verganti, Claudio Dell'Era, Francesco Zurlo, and other scholars in Politecnico, in which design represents, for sure, we could say, the lever to create new meanings of the product, new meanings of the services, new meanings of the business model. So it means that if you want to have a very concise and direct claim of this master, we transfer the logics, the principle, and we could say the methods to the student, to the attendant, to change, to generate, we could say, new meanings about product, services, and business model. Why? Because more than having, we can say, new ideas, the company can access to new ideas, even we can say looking outside their wall. A lot of company, we could say, they organize creative contests, they organize hackathons, they organize, we could say, relationship with different kind of creative companies. The problem of the company is not, we could say, to get new ideas, but in a lot of cases, the problem of the company, the strategic problem of the company, is to understand the strategic direction. And according to a design perspective, this kind of strategic direction can emerge questioning the reason why of the product, the reason why of the services. And this kind of reason why, we call it the meaning of product and services, that is also connected, we could say, to the kind of the role that the product and services play in the life of the user. And on the other hand, we could say, to the sense, to the emotion, to the feeling that relate people with product and services. Just to make one of the classical example that we do in explaining the meaning shift of the product and services, we use a very clear example that is about candles. The candles until 20, 30 years ago was just an object, was a product that was used when the classical artificial lights, we could say, crashed. So we use the candle to go to the armchair in order, we could say, to put the light on. Nowadays, candles are something completely different. They are creator of atmosphere, they are creator of relaxing moments, they are used, we can say, in a party, or we can say during a romantic dinner. So it means that every kind of product evolve in terms of meaning, and the ability of the manager, the ability of the design manager, the ability of the entrepreneur is to catch, is to intercept, we could say, the new meaning that some product could have. On the other hand, this kind of master take inside a specific philosophy in which innovating the product is not sufficient, is not, we can say, a sort of complete effort of innovation. Because if you want to put a new product on the market, sometimes you need other kind of complementary levers to orchestrate. So we call this approach an approach to innovation that is based on a product service system. And in this case, we can say we address the innovation not just to the physical component of the offering that usually can be a product, but in a lot of cases, we can say the product itself is not enough to change the user behavior, to instill a new kind of, let's we say, uses and relationship with the product. And this is why we call this kind of approach product service system, in which the innovation is wider than the product. It involves, we can say, even all the services that are complementary to the product they use. It involves the distribution chain and the retailing strategy. It involves, in a certain way, all the other, let's we say, communication interfaces in which nowadays physical and digital, they are completely, in a certain way, merged in a unique proposition. So what are the main capabilities that we want to create, and what are the professional, let's we say, position that our alumni, they cover in this moment? First of all, the goal and the direction of the master are related to transfer capabilities about problem solving and problem solving. And sometimes, as we say, design deals with the ill-defined problem, with no clearly bordered problems, in which one of the challenge is not only to solve the problem, but previously you should find the problem. And we say that this capability is related to framing and reframing the user problem. So this is one of the capability that we usually stress, the capability to see the innovation problem and the user problem from another angle, from another perspective. On the other hand, we want to develop entrepreneurial aptitude. What does it mean? It means that it's the capability to solve the problem with the resources that you can mobilize. everyone can solve the problem, we can say, accessing to a wide range of resources, but it's, we could say, more difficult to solve the problem with the resources that you can have. And this is what we call, even we could say, effectuation, that is the capability to put the resource together in order to solve a problem or to create, let's we say, an innovation effort. On the other hand, we want to develop in our student the capability to manage the complexity. When you have to design even a very simple product, like, I don't know, an agenda or a book, or we could say a glass, you have a lot of constraint, because nowadays we could say all the problem of innovation are complex because they are multi-factor, in which the user behavior are not standard. The issues about, we can say, portability, about the context of use, about, we can say, the interacting logic between a physical product and digital product is really a complex, we can say, issue to tackle. So we want to, let's we say, train to manage complexity and the problems that are related to this complex society. And then we want, we could say, to transfer competencies and skill about the generation of vision. As I said before, in a lot of cases, companies do not need ideas, do not need, we could say, to access new ideas, but they need a direction, they need a vision, they need a scenario. Finally, last but not least, there is another capability that we train that is about, we can say, the storytelling of the innovation. In a lot of companies, innovating is a role in which there are a lot of barriers, a lot of inertia, a lot of resistances. So our role is to, in a certain way, create communication and narrative competence in the strategic designer, in order that they can, in a certain way, create the right consensus in their organization. And this is why design became sort of strategic weapon that is largely used even in those sectors that are completely far from the classical design-driven, let's we say, logics. If we have to say what are the key positions, the roles that our alumni in a certain way had in the different edition, we distinguish usually two kind of roles. One is more about a sort of vertical specialist. It depends even by the previous background that the student have. Specialist in marketing and innovation, specialist in R&D, specialist in industrial design sometimes. On the other hand, we train the classical figures that after 4 or 5 years of working, they can become design director, design manager, innovation manager, project manager, or retail manager. It depends clearly by the position that the design assumes in the different organizational context. Another key point that I'd like to stress in this moment is to leverage on our, let's we say, didactic philosophy that, as I introduced at the beginning, it combines the logics of an MBA, in which there are a lot of business case, a lot of project work, a lot of seminars about discussing the reason why of some strategy, some organization competitive levers, and so on. On the other hand, we follow the classical project-based learning approach, because it's part of the pedagogy of design, in which through the project you learn. So we put you in a sort of project-driven environment led by different companies that we will see later, in which we can say the learning depends by the organization of the project, by the conducting of the project, by the development of the ideas that are at the, and the vision that are at the base of the project. how we split this kind of overall experience, because when you approach a master, you have to think that there is a sort of, even here, multifactorial experiences in which different kind of forces interact. First of all, we have a sort of bulk of 7 months in which there are all the teaching modules that I will explain later with more details. On the other hand, there will be a final internship in which there is a specific challenge in which the student will address a specific innovation challenge in a company, and then there is the development of the final project, that is the final tail of the course, in which you will come back, let's we say, in the school desk in order to explain your experience during the internship, and which has been, in a certain way, the project that you lead and the project that you did. This is another way to see the path more in details. Usually in the teaching modules, we recognize 2 main moments that are the initial moment of the master, all the modules related to the management courses and all the modules related to design courses. There is a logic why the management courses in a certain way precede the design courses. During the management courses, you will learn a lot of discipline, methods, and approach that relate with innovation. So in a certain way, you will build your shoulder about this kind of discipline. Later on, design is more lacking in terms of pattern. It's not like the management discipline. So in this way, you will understand how some managerial moment can go in crisis when you have in front of you different kind of challenges. And then there is, we could say, the moment that we call DEW 1, 2, and 3, or DIW 1, 2, 3, and 4. DEW, it stays for Design Extensive Workshop, and DIW stays for Design Intensive Workshop. It means that we have more or less every year 3 kind of design extensive workshop. It means that they last 3 weeks, in which there is an industrial partner that with the challenge stimulate, we can say, the student to develop a new product, a new service, new business model. On the other hand, the design intensive workshop are mostly related to vertical issues about the design that are on the edge. For example, this year we have the word of non-human design issues, in which we could say the designer should challenge the interaction between human being and pet and animals in their daily life. Or there are other, we could say, kind of on the edge workshop, more related, for example, to the relationship between artificial intelligence and creativity. By the end, we assign, we could say, this kind of project work-based internship, in which, according to a selection of companies, every student is allocated in a company where to develop an internship that is based on more than 500 hours in order to develop a specific innovation project. The faculty is one of, according to me, one of the asset, let's we say, of this master, because here you have a very heterogeneous mixture of professional and scholars. In particular, there are, we could say, different kind of internationally recognized scholars like Ezio Manzini, Roberto Berganti, Claudio Dell'Era, Federico Frattini, Antonio Ghezzi, Joseph Kotler. These are classical management scholars that they write, we could say, articles and contribute on different kind of academic journal into the world. On the other hand, we have a very wide mix of professionals that they work in different kind of consulting, in design consulting, or in, as we say, in design studios, and they are in a certain way leading of the workshop of the more interactive activities that we do in our master, like for example, Elena Marinoni or Maurizio Lacava or Giulio Toscani or Edward Rhodes or other kind of professional that in this moment maybe do not appear even in this slide. Continuing with our asset, where you are, you will be immersed in a sort of learning environment where everything is designed according to the learning experience that we want. For example, we have Steelcase as a partner to provide all the facilities and all the furniture in order, we could say, to create design interacting moment in which you can move into the class. You can, we could say, create a different island because all the seats and all the table can be in a certain way reorganized in different kind of layout. So we have the possibility to set an environment according to the different moments and to the different learning style and to the different learning, let's we say, option that we have. On the other hand, our asset is for sure the internationally recognized prominent scholars that in a certain way affected all the evolution of the thought and the reasoning in design and in management. For sure, another kind of element of wealth in our master is all the relationship, all the network of companies that typically collaborate with us. Every year we have industrial partner that they can be big corporation, multinational, or even sometimes small and medium enterprise in Italy that take part to this kind of project-based moment. In all the years of the master, we have different kind of industrial partner like Barilla, like ING Direct, like Procter & Gamble, like we could say Team, like Pirelli. So there is a very wide range of companies that they know the value of this master and the value of the student that we train. And then the other asset, according to me, is that this kind of master experience is not based in a sort of a classical design school. As you know, Politecnico di Milano is a research university, and so one of the assets that is typically connected to our activity is that you enter in an environment, in a context where research and didactic are research and education, they are completely, in a certain way, intertwined. So it's not the classical, let's we say, provider of courses, but we are speaking about a research-based context where all the scholars that you will meet, they are involved in different international research groups. And then there is one very funny part of the master, that is the joint workshop that we do with our partner, that is the foreign partner of the master, that is the Antwerp Management School. This is because one of the extensive design workshop is run with an international partner, that is, we can say, the Antwerp Management School. And in particular, we have a 3 weeks experience in which 1 week is managed, we can say, in Belgium, another week is managed in a blended learning model, in a remote learning, and then we could say there is the final part that is managed in Milano. Usually this is a very, let we say, enriching experience, because one class that is called the Master in Innovation and Entrepreneurship join our class in order to develop new products and services for multinational. In this kind of experience, different companies took part to this kind of experience. Air France, Procter & Gamble, and other software houses that are internationally recognized, usually we could say, took part to this kind of workshop. Finally, what are, we could say, the plus that we have to narrate, we could say, in a classical, very short presentation of our master. First of all, you are, as I said, in a top university, in a top ranked university that is Politecnico di Milano. So you will brief even the, let's we say, the possibility to participate to other kind of events that are not just correlated to our master. So you have a sort of variety in terms of stimuli and the possibility to attend seminars and other courses, we could say, in Politecnico. The interaction with the top scholar, with design manager, with innovation manager that in Milano or outside we are able to engage. Learning from highly competitive organization means that we could say every year we have different kind of industrial partners that are usually leading company that invest in design and the innovation. And then the possibility to develop a network of students that after the master and alumni of the past that after the master took different position in different leading organizations. I just want to close, let's we say, the presentation with a more operative part that is about the admission path that you have. You should present this kind of document that are curriculum vitae, motivational letter, portfolio, if you are, we could say, with the background of design. Otherwise, we could say the design portfolio is not necessary. And then the bachelor degree with the university transcript and your ID card if you are a European citizen, or passport for the non-European citizen. There is an entry test, even because we have a sort of limited number of acceptance, and it's no more than 30 students that every year we select, and the final prize that is, we could say, comprising of all the costs related to the different didactic experience and even the travel expenses to go, come back, and the accommodation in Antwerp for the workshop with the Antwerp is the full price 14,500 euros, so 14,500 euros. There are different kind of, let's we say, scholarship that we recognize as a partial, let's we say, discounted price of 25%, but we have no more than 4 possibility, let's we say, on the basis of your, let's see, let me say, value. It means that according to the motivational letter, according to your university transcript, and according to the written part that we ask in order to be admitted, because there is a short exercise to which it follows a sort of conversation with Anna Consolati that you will meet at the end of this part. For those that they are in a certain way get the 4th position in the final ranking, there is the possibility of the 25% of, let's we say, minor prizes. So thank you to everyone for the attention. I tried to stay in a sufficient time to explain, we can say, the basic things, but on the other hand, try to not go over in order to give you the possibility to ask some questions. So what I do is to interrupt the sharing of the presentation and giving you the voice in order, we could say, to explain something more than what I said.
Yes, Cabirio, there is just a few questions. The first one is, what is the entry test about? You start to describe a little bit, and then what type of project should we show on the portfolio?
Okay. The entry test is a way to understand what is your conception of strategic design. It's not a sort of disciplinary test. We don't want to know how much you know in terms of strategic design, but we would like to know your philosophy in in conceiving the strategic design. Why? Because there is not a sort of clear definition. The boundaries are really, let's we say, blurred. So we just want to understand, for example, who is for you a strategic designer, or what are the companies that they use in a certain way strategic design. So these are open questions, let's we say, that you will have. It's not so hard to answer, but we need it. The type of project that you would show in the portfolio, it's about everything that you did, in particular specifying your role, because in a lot of projects where there is the development of very complex system, maybe the role of the designer, of the participant, is just limited to some part. So we would like to understand which has been the role during some project development.
Daniela asked also if it's possible to have a call from someone of the admission team. Yes, but about what? In the sense that after you send the admission documents and after submitted the entry test, I will in general contact the candidate in order to organize a motivational interview. So what do you mean with a call from someone from the admission team in order to better understand and to reply to your question?
Anyway, it's possible to
yeah.
to connect. Yes, to better understand. Yes, it's possible to connect with Anna, even writing a mail with the question, maybe anticipating even the question, and then you can fix a quick call in order to get some points that can be obscure.
I've just put my personal email in the chat. Okay.
Yes, but we do usually, we could say, for those that are very far from here, we organize some very short call in order to get the answer. It's important that you anticipate the question, the main points that you want to know.
Yeah, it could be easier point during the call to reply to your questions.
We don't have evening or we have virtual courses. It means that we will give the possibility, as it has happened this year, in which a couple of students, they were in remote learning, but they should be connected in synchronous way, in synchronous mode, because we interacted during the classes, and we don't make just a recording that can be available later. Something new is happening. We are organizing, we could say, another kind of course, but at the moment, this is, we could say, the modalities. One is, let's we say, in the physical presence, as every kind of student can do, and the other is to attend the master in remote learning, but in a synchronous way. So it means that you should attend the calendar as it is. Thank you, Zurab. Thank you, Daniela.
If you have other question, please write in the chat. Probably everything is clear.
Maybe the majority of the information, we can say, are clear. So it has been a pleasure in any case, through the internet website, our website, or through the email of Anna. You can, do you know how many
international students stay working after the internship?
All. in the sense that usually all the students, we could say, they go in design consulting, in design agency, in studios, in manufacturing companies. We don't have students that usually after 3-4 months by the master, they are unemployed. So usually it's not one of the problem that we manage, and we hope, we could say, do not start, we could say, from the next year. That's a great news, yes, even for us. It means that there is a reason why we are on the market. In absence of additional question, we could say, go through the conclusion. So for any kind of additional news, you can contact Anna Consolati, or directly through the website. We receive some messages. In any case, we could say we wait and we hope that we will see you soon during the admission test. So yeah. Thank you to everyone. Have a good weekend, and see you soon.
See you soon. Thank you so much. Bye. You just, I want to add that you will receive tomorrow the link in order to, if you want to rewatch the video, you can do it. You will receive the link tomorrow. No, tomorrow, sorry. On Monday, because tomorrow is Saturday. Sorry. Okay. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Ciao. Thank you. Bye-bye.